William Golding's Lord of the Flies follows a group of British schoolboys stranded on a deserted island after their plane crashes. At first, they try to establish order, electing Ralph as their leader and setting rules for survival. However, as time passes, their fragile society begins to break down. Jack, the leader of the hunters, becomes obsessed with power and hunting, leading a group of boys into savagery. Fear of a supposed beast on the island fuels paranoia, and chaos erupts as the boys turn on each other. Simon, one of the most thoughtful boys, discovers that the beast is not real, but is instead a symbol of their own fear and darkness. However, he is brutally killed by the others in a frenzy. As Jack's tribe fully embraces violence, Piggy, Ralph's rational ally, is also murdered. Just as Ralph is about to be hunted down, a naval officer arrives, rescuing them and revealing the stark contrast between their childhood innocence and the horrifying reality of their actions. Lord of the Flies is a powerful novel that explores the thin line between civilization and savagery. Golding uses the island as a microcosm of society, showing how quickly order can collapse without structure and moral guidance. The boys initially try to maintain rules and democracy, but their descent into violence suggests that civilization is a fragile construct, easily torn apart when fear and power struggles take hold. The novel also critiques human nature, suggesting that cruelty and savagery are inherent, only kept in check by social norms. Golding's use of symbolism, such as the conch shell, representing order, the Lord of the Flies, representing inner darkness, and Piggy's glasses representing reason, deepens the novel's meaning. Through its dark and unsettling narrative, the book forces readers to consider the consequences of losing morality and structure. One of the novel's central themes is the struggle between civilization and savagery. Ralph and Piggy represent order, reason, and democracy, while Jack and his hunters embody chaos, violence, and the desire for dominance. At first, the boys attempt to create a structured society, using the conch shell to establish rules and fairness. However, as their fear and thirst for power grow, they abandon these principles, turning to hunting, ritualistic violence, and even murder. The fact that the boys descend into savagery so quickly suggests that civilization is a thin layer covering humanity's darker instincts. Golding challenges the idea that humans are naturally good, instead implying that without rules and consequences, people may revert to brutality. Fear plays a major role in the breakdown of society on the island. The boys' terror of the mysterious beast leads to paranoia and irrational behaviour, allowing Jack to manipulate them into following him. Simon is the only one who realises that the beast is not a real creature, but rather a manifestation of their own fears. However, the others are so consumed by hysteria that they kill Simon before he can reveal the truth. This shows how fear can be used to control people, as well as how myths and superstition can distort reality. The Lord of the Flies, a pig's head on a stick, becomes a physical representation of this fear, symbolising the darkness within the boys rather than an external threat. At the start of the novel, the boys view the island as a grand adventure, much like the stories they have read. However, as they face survival challenges, fear and violence, they rapidly lose their innocence. The deaths of Simon and Piggy mark significant turning points, showing that the boys are no longer playing a game, but have fully embraced savagery. Ralph, once an optimistic leader, becomes hunted like an animal, demonstrating how completely their innocence has been destroyed. The final scene, in which the naval officer arrives and sees the boys in their savage state, highlights the contrast between their past as civilized schoolchildren and their new reality as violent, primal beings. This theme suggests that innocence is fragile and can be lost when people are removed from societal rules. Ralph serves as the novel's protagonist, representing leadership, order, and democracy. He tries to maintain civilization on the island, but struggles to keep the boys from descending into chaos. Jack, his main rival, symbolises the thirst for power and savagery, growing more violent as the novel progresses. Piggy, with his intelligence and reliance on logic, is a voice of reason, but is dismissed and ultimately killed showing how fragile rationality is in a world driven by fear and aggression. Simon, the novel's most insightful character, understands the true nature of the beast, but is murdered before he can share his realization. Each character represents different aspects of human nature, with Golding using them to explore the tension between civilization and primal instincts.